Well, hello, class. Students, how are you doing today? Hope the first week went well for you. This is going to be history we're getting into right now. Say hello to Jim. He's my friend. He hangs out in the classroom, make sure everything goes okay. And we're going to be looking and delving into history. So your book, today we're actually going to be looking in your book, so make sure you get your books out. This book is The Mighty Works of God, Liberty and Justice for All. And that's the book we're going to be going through today. So, or not today, we're going to be starting it today, getting into the first lesson, we should say, for that. So let's go ahead and open up our book to the first page, right? All right here. It says, proclaim liberty throughout all the land. So, what does it mean to proclaim? Any ideas? Jasmine, what do you think it means to proclaim? So proclaim means simply to say or speak out loudly so that everybody knows. So when it says proclaim liberty throughout all the land, that means to speak it out, let everybody know. And we're going to learn what liberty is. We're going to learn why it's so important. That's why the book is called Liberty and Justice for All. So let's get into it. Let's delve into it and see how it is. It says liberty is very precious to the people of America. So I'm going to get up. I'm going to show you where we are, right? This is a map of the world, the entire world. We are right here, the United States. We have and understand what liberty is. There are a lot of places in the world that don't. For instance, Iraq, North Korea, those places do not understand what liberty is. And you can actually be imprisoned, beaten, and killed because you believe or you share about Jesus. But here's what it says. It says, living in a land of liberty provides great opportunities and blessings. It does. It's amazing. Knowing the story of American liberty will help us remember how special it is to live in a land of liberty. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence was written and signed. The delegates at the old State House announced to the world that the American people were determined to protect their liberty. Jim, are you determined to protect your liberty? Jim? Jim's kind of quiet, maybe a little shy, so he might not answer very much. That's okay. So while the members of the Continental Congress met at the State House, the people waited anxiously to hear the news. What would the representatives decide? Would America keep her liberty? Inside the State House, the representatives solemnly or very seriously declared that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states. So let's back up for a second. Let's look at something. We're going to start to learn too a little bit about grammar. Grammar is just basic understanding of what words mean and what they are. So let's think about the word, that's a good one, colonies. So at the very bottom of the page, it says that these united colonies. What is colonies? Colonies is, actually, let's go to a different one. Let's go to representatives. That's a good one. What's a representative? Do you know? Adrian, do you know? Well, a representative is a person. It's a person who takes the place of another, who stands in the place for someone else and speaks for them. So when we say representative and we say what part of speech it is what is called a noun. Now nouns, they tell either what a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. So representatives, because representatives are people, because they're a person, we say that they are a noun. So other examples, let's see, person, man, a man's a person, a woman's a person. So those would be nouns. That's a person. How about a place? Where are you right now? Are you at home? I'm at school. I'm at the school building. So school or home would be a noun because it is a place, a person, a place, a thing. Let's try a thing. Easy one, a pen. A pen is also a noun because it's a thing. Or an idea. Ooh, here's a good one. Liberty. Liberty is an idea, so it would also be a noun. But we'll keep going. It says, these united colonies are, and make sure you're following along. Isaias, are you following along? Use your pencil. maybe the backside of a pen so you don't mark up your book, and follow along. So it says, these united colonies are, and of rights, return the page, now right here, ought to be free and independent states. Free and independent. The bell in the State House, belfry. So what's a belfry? You sure? Well, here's the State House building. We'll take a look. So here's the State House building, right? The belfry is this area up here where the bell was. So there was a bell there. It says, the bell of the State House belfry was rung, announcing to the people that America had declared her independence. These men had decided, these representatives have decided, yes, we are going to declare our independence. We are no longer going to be a part of Great Britain. And you'll learn later on that there were so many abuses and things that Great Britain did. And finally, after years and years and years of the United States trying desperately to settle their differences peacefully, finally said, we can't do this. When the people heard the bell ringing, they cheered enthusiastically. Ring the bell for liberty! What do you think, Jim? I think Jim wants to say something. Ring the bell for liberty! See, even he said it. Jim got excited. Ring the bell for liberty. Ring it. And that's what they did. And it says here, and while we greet the sunlight on the 4th of each July. So remember July 4th? What do you remember about July 4th? What are your memories? What have you done on July 4th? Maybe some of you have cooked out. Maybe steaks or hot dogs you grilled out. Maybe some of you went to the lake. Maybe some of you, I don't know, shot fireworks. All these different things. But July 4th, we celebrate and we remember what was done, what happened. And that is the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So it says, and while we greet the sunlight of the 4th of July, 4th of each July, so July 4th, we'll never forget the bellman, the man who rang the bell, who twixt the earth and sky, twixt means beneath, because he's under the sky, but above the earth because he's kind of high up in the bell tower, rung our independence, which, please God, shall never die. The old State House at Philadelphia still stands and is preserved with the greatest care. So that building, you still go to that building, and they preserve it and make sure it stays in good shape. Thousands of people from all parts of the United States visit it every year. For here Congress met in 1776, and here the Declaration of Independence was signed, July 4th. In the State House hung the Liberty Bell. This bell was bought in England in 1752 for the State House. It was then the largest bell in America. So they rang the largest bell in America. Upon the first trial ringing, it cracked, and it hung unused in the steeple for a year. So the first bell, so we'll go back to the picture. All right, the first bell that they took up here, the biggest one in all the United States, or at that time, just the colonies. The first time they tried to ring it, it cracked, and it just, people said, they left it for a year. It was then taken down and recast, meaning the metal was put back together, with these words in the relief letters. So the relief letters is just the letters on the bell. And they said, proclaim liberty throughout the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. In the hall, underneath this very bell, 12 years later, Congress did indeed proclaim liberty. They proclaimed liberty by the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And the joyful ringing of this bell first told the crowd of anxious people that the Declaration of Independence had been passed. For 2 hours, the tones of the bell floated down from above. It means they were ringing the bell. The sound came from above. and mingled with the roll of drums and the booming of cannon. Cannons meaning they were shooting off cannons because they were celebrating. And the shouts of the multitudes below. So, this is how our nation began. It began with the idea that liberty is a God-given right. It began with the idea that people would not live under slavery, and that's what was happening with with the colonies at that time. Is that they were almost just about slaves, and they said no more. So, for your first assignment, I want you to take out this page right here, okay? And it's very simple. The first part of your assignment is simply I want you to color this page, okay? I want you to color the page. So this outside area, remember we color things the color they would actually be. So this outside area is going to be brown because it's something holding it up, and this the bell would be probably a dark gold color. So that's going to be it for right now. But later on, we're going to add something else. So on Friday, not Friday, but on your next video, I'm going to share with you what we're going to write at the bottom, because it's very, very, very important that we understand what was written on the bell and why it was so significant, and then also what the word liberty means. So what does liberty mean? So as I end this video, that's what I'm going to ask you. What does liberty mean? What do you think it means? And I want you to think about that until the next time we meet.